$13,590 for the low income, what this number represents, and what it means for fixed income beneficiaries of Social Security, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, and RRB. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, the all-important number is $13,590. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, yeah, it actually is pretty good. So I do want to talk about all the details as far as what this number actually means, how to get it, and based on what lawmakers are currently working on, as well as what the president has said as far as what they want to do to get all of this money to the low income and fixed income beneficiaries. So let's get into it and discuss all these details. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video. I'm here for you each and every day, right by your side, as that is my dedication and my commitment to you and this community to continue doing all the research as your one and only daily advocate and breaking it all down into these short videos so that you can stay updated with what is really going on right now, what is happening with Congress, what lawmakers are currently talking about, what the president is working on, and how they want to expand benefits when it comes to all those that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, as well as money, benefits, programs, reform, legislation, new bills, checks, stimulus, raises to benefits, and so many other things that continue happening right here, right now. So again, thanks so much for joining me. I truly do appreciate it. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, so you don't miss any updates going forward, and so I can continue to help you navigate this very confusing time where information is changing so incredibly fast, and I truly just want to do whatever I can to get more money into your pockets, because ultimately, that's what everybody needs right now, right? More money in the pockets. So I want to help you out in any way that I can. All right, thanks again. Let's get into this and talk about all the details and why this number, $13,590, is so incredibly important and what this number actually means going forward. All right, so there's a lot to talk about in regards to this one very simple number. So let me give you the details on this. So this $13,590 is actually the federal poverty line as of 2022. Now this number does update a little bit each and every year. It bumps a little bit higher. In fact, this year in 2022, it is $710 more than what it was last year in 2021. So last year it was $12,880. This year, $13,590. However, what does that actually mean? Like, how do we get the money then? Okay, this is the federal poverty line. Great, sounds good. But what does this mean as far as actually getting this money into our bank accounts? Good question. So let's talk about it a little bit further. So we do know this much. There's multiple different pieces of legislation that are currently being worked on right here, right now, that are floating around Congress, and how they're actually working on these here and now to actually raise benefits and ultimately reform some of these programs out there where millions upon millions of people rely on these for fixed income benefits every single month, and ultimately raising these benefits up to the federal poverty line, because there are many lawmakers who think, and we agree here too, as right? So many of us here in the community agree with this as well, which these lawmakers are simply saying nobody should be receiving a benefit below the federal poverty line. I like it. Right? I think we're all in agreement here. I think we all can probably say, yes, please bump us up to the federal poverty line. We agree. We need to be getting at least the federal poverty line on a monthly basis. What else is actually interesting too? So maybe a month and a half or so ago, Bernie Sanders was out talking about the Social Security Expansion Act. This is the one that would give a $200 per month raise for Social Security beneficiaries. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to get into all the details on that. However, as he was standing there talking about this in front of Congress, here's what's interesting. He talked about seniors in particular. That was just the group of people that he was talking about at that given time. So again, this pertains to all fixed income beneficiaries, but he was just specifically talking about seniors at the moment. He said that seniors, I forget the percentage and number that he said, but he said that it was a pretty big percentage of the seniors are relying on less than $10,000 per year to live on. And he basically said, nobody can do that. Even Bernie Sanders acknowledged nobody can live on less than $10,000 a year. True, but guess what? A lot of people are doing it, right? So I think all of us are probably agreeing, yeah, you're right. Nobody can live on less than 10 grand a year. But yet the fact is, unfortunately, many millions of people are actually doing that right here, right now. So, it's nice that Bernie Sanders acknowledges that 10 grand is not nearly enough for somebody to live on, especially now with everything going up in price, to actually live on. So I thought that was actually a very interesting remark out of Bernie Sanders as he's literally standing there on the floor in Congress talking about this, right? And I thought, yeah, then why aren't we doing something about this? But again, remember, $10,000 is still $3,590 less than the federal poverty line on an annualized basis, right? So anyway, just want to throw that out there as well. So we're all on the same page here. But anyway, when it comes down to it, there are many different lawmakers who essentially all come together and agree unanimously that benefits should be raised up to at least 100% of the federal poverty line, which is also exactly what they want to do in the in the SSI Restoration Act, right? We've talked about that one in great detail in previous videos. We don't need to get into tons of detail in this video about it, but that is one of the provisions there in the SSI Restoration Act is to raise those benefits for about 8 million SSI beneficiaries, once again, to the federal poverty line. Now, here's another key number that we need to focus on as well. In the Social Security 2100, another piece of legislation out there, they also want to raise Social Security benefits up to 125% of the federal poverty line, which just so happens to be just under $17,000 a year as we run the math on that. So again, you can kind of see this $13,590 is a very important number, and they kind of peg a lot of these different programs and raises and everything else like that, reform to these programs based on the federal poverty line. Now let me break this down for you really quickly and tell you what this would be on an ongoing monthly basis, because $13,590 sounds great as an annualized number, but what does it come out to on a monthly basis? So here's what we do. Simply $13,590 divided by 12 is $1,132 each and every month. So essentially that's what they're saying with these different pieces of legislation that are out there, what lawmakers are currently saying, and what they're trying to do is essentially raise benefits up to the federal poverty line. So again, if they happen to do this, it'd be super cool, right? It would be amazing for so many people. Virtually how it would work is anybody with a benefit under $1,132 each and every month would essentially be brought up to the federal poverty line. So again, you can probably imagine, just like everything in Congress, right? It's a great idea. Everything sounds good on paper. It sounds good as they present it. And then all of a sudden we get into all the logistics behind it and they say, oh no, this can't work because of that. And this is going to be a problem because of this. You know what I mean? And they get into all these different reasons why it's not going to work. So I'm not sure about you, but the way that I operate my life is, okay, it's not going to work, then let's find a solution to make it work. Gee, right? I'm a genius, right? I'm not a genius. I just happen to know the solution how to get things done. You simply find a way that doesn't work and say, okay, let's go back to the drawing board and figure out a way that does work. You keep going until you find a solution that does work, right? Super easy stuff. I'm not like a brainiac by any means at all. I'm a pretty basic person, but my point is I know how it works, right? You just simply keep going until you find a solution that works, and that's all that Congress needs to do, right? But anyway, when it comes down to it, this is the very key number, $13,590 on an annualized basis, or $1,132 each and every month, which would be satisfying the federal poverty line at this point right here, right now. So again, one more thing too. Like the Social Security Expansion Act, that one that Bernie Sanders was out several weeks ago talking about, this is actually a pretty cool one, because here's the thing. If they did actually happen to implement this, and it implemented a $200 per month raise to benefits, again, new piece of legislation, this would lift a lot of people very close to the federal poverty line. Now, it probably wouldn't surpass, but it'd get you very close to it anyway. And now, I want to throw this quote out there really quickly, because the president has said this, and I think we need to remember this all the time, because it's a good idea. I mean, it's a thing that the president said, and ultimately, I just want the president to follow through with his word, right? If this is his true belief, then why don't we get some action on this? The president said, "No older adults or people with disabilities should ever need to live in poverty in America." Nice statement. It's a very nice statement, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, millions of people are falling in poverty and living in poverty who are, guess what, older adults and, yes, people with disabilities. Therefore, the vast majority of these people are fixed income beneficiaries. So we all understand this. There's a lot of you right here in the community. I see your comments down below. So essentially it comes in like this. If your benefit is essentially less than $1,132, or your benefit plus any income that you may have on on a monthly basis, if it is below that number, $1,132 on a monthly basis, if you have limited assets, limited income, limited resources, well, unfortunately, you might be in poverty, okay? Again, not here to say that that's, I'm not trying to like single you out or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply saying, based on these definitions that they've given us, that's what they've said. And by what they've said, you shouldn't be living in poverty. Well, what are they going to do about it? Good question, right? Yeah, I think that's why we need to continue to hammer down on Congress, the president, everybody else out there to see what they will do to actually reform these benefits and ultimately raise them up so that nobody lives like this below the federal poverty line in what we call the richest country in the world. Again, does that make any sense? No, doesn't make any sense. Not to me anyway. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense to some people, but I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense to me. Anyway, hope you're having a nice day so far. But again, this is a very key number. I want to continue to keep an eye on this one because, well, the more that they drag this thing out, the higher that number is going to get. So in 2023, that number will also adjust higher, probably by a few $100s. So again, we'll have to watch that in 2023. But the fact of the matter is, let's watch what is actually going on right here, right now. And let's not worry about 2023 right now. Let's worry about the now and the present, right? Yeah. So anyway, hope this one helps you out. Again, just want to let you know what this number represents as far as and what they are doing as far as lawmakers, legislation, new bills, new packages, the administration, the president, all of these different people, what they've said and where they currently stand with the federal poverty line. Anyway, one quick side note, by the way, all those stimulus checks that we received lifted nearly 12 million people from the brink of poverty. So we can see here, one simple stimulus check would lift nearly 12 million people from falling into poverty. So I don't know. Couldn't be that hard to do, right? We know that Congress can easily do that. Anyway, let's save that for a separate video. So, hope this one helps you out. Again, please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out some of the other thousands of videos right here on the channel. Thanks again. I truly appreciate it. Until next time, enjoy your day, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.